Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. We've been looking forward to this trip for a long time. We've been planning it since, back at the beginning of the year, and we knew that we were going to have about 12 days that we could get away between my vacation from work and everything. So we got 12 days to get on the road. We're headed over to Alabama, to Gulf State Park, and then from there we're going to go into northern Alabama into Chi State Park up in the mountains. That's actually the highest point in Alabama. From there we're going to shoot over to Cloudland Canyon. There's Dylan coming in.
Well, I was having fun.
So we're going to shoot over to Cloudland Canyon up in northern Georgia. We're going to come back down over on the east coast of Georgia to Skidaway Island, and then back to Florida. So we're going to do all that in 12 days. The first step of that was getting to Alabama. So it's about 10 hours to Gulf State Park from where we were at down in Stuart, Florida. So from Stuart to Gulf State Park, 10 hours. We picked a spot up here in Hamilton County, Florida. It's Stephen Foster State Park, but it's not Stephen C. Foster State Park, which is in Georgia. Same name, different states. So if you're looking online, trying to find Stephen Foster State Park in Florida, there is one in Florida, and there's also one in Georgia that we visited last year. So we stopped there. It's about a 5-hour trip. So we stopped here for the night. Beautiful park, man. I mean, really, it's got 45 sites. It's just big, beautiful shade trees everywhere. I mean, right now we're here in the middle of the week, so there's hardly anybody here. There's maybe 4 or 5 other people here, but this is a place that we might definitely come back and check out. It's a beautiful little place up here. Very nice, very quiet. So we'll have a little bit of video footage from around this campground, and then we'll be getting on the road and headed over to Alabama. So we're looking forward to it. If you're new to our channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can follow along on these adventures that we're going to have, and we appreciate it. Stay tuned.
And don't forget to ring the bell.
Hang on, I'll come over there.
I'm scared.
Just hold on.
How do I stop?
Hold.
This is kind of one of the centerpieces of this campground, this park. It's the Caroline Tower, and we got to hear the bells this morning. You can hear them all throughout the park when they start ringing the bells from that tower. So here's our site here at Gulf State Park, 317. Pretty good sized site. I mean, we are kind of close to the bathhouse, which hasn't turned out to be too much of an issue. Some people might like that if you're not if you go to the bathhouse quite often. Then there's a couple sites that are real close to it. But you can see there's nobody on this side of us over here. And actually, we got pretty fortunate this weekend. Because as you can see, just pan all the way around, and you can't see anybody. So we made it into Gulf State Park yesterday. The park is huge. I mean, this place has over 400 RV sites. I mean, the place is massive. We got up this morning. We're going to come down here to the Alligator Marsh Trail, which is just right around the corner from our campsite. We started our walk and we got up on this nice boardwalk that goes all the way down along the backside of the campground. And then we heard some big rumbles of thunder. So we checked the radar and there's a big old storm coming. So cut this one short, we're gonna head back. All right, so after getting past some rain and stuff this morning, we decided to take a drive down to Fort Morgan. Our hike this morning got cut kind of short there. That we were showing you on the boardwalk, but the rain moved through, so now we decided to come down to Fort Morgan. This place is pretty cool. It's an old Civil War fort that was also used in World War I and II, so we're gonna take a look around and show you guys what this place looks like. And that's the bed. So you have guys that would be manning these guns, these cannons, and then they have a sleeping place in there for them to sleep too.
Oh, and then they put that cannon to his head. Well, this is a huge cannon.
Yeah, in 1902, this weapon right here that was mounted right there in that hole could shoot a 1,046 pound shell 8.5 miles.
Yeah, are you allowed to walk down in there?
Yeah. So you had that big gun mounted in this hole, and then they would raise it up over the wall to shoot it, and then bring it back down behind the protective barrier. That's insane. And you can see how you've got the new section.
Look what I just found.
You got the new section that was constructed during World War I and II, and then you've got it connected to the old section. It's really interesting to see the difference in the architecture and the materials used and the structure between the old section and this new section. And that's the 1,046 pound shell that gun on the top of the fort could shoot 8.5 miles.
This is a nice thing.
No, I live in town, I live on the river.
All right, so we just wrapped up at Fort Morgan. Super awesome. Very, very historical place. Like I said before, it's really neat to see how they mixed the old original fort with the new section when they rebuilt it during World War I, and added some different things to it and kind of fortified it a little more. So this fort has a ton of history, and it was very, very neat. Dylan, what you think about it, man?
Yeah, a couple of things. I think you would agree on this. It was a little sketchy because it was so old. Would you agree?
Actually, the strange part is the newer part that they built during World War I actually looked like it was in worse shape than the really, really old part that was built back during the Civil War.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were some parts of it that looked a little sketchy, a little bit.
Yeah, and I think two other things about it.
What's that?
Yeah, I think it was very hot.
Well, it was hot, but that's really that's not the fort's fault.
Yeah,
It was just
not
hot.
into forts.
It was just hot.
And cool, lots of history.
I missed the beginning, so were you impressed?
Yes.
Good. You would recommend it to people that like history?
Yes. Very.
Lots of history. History going from Civil War all the way up through World War I and II. So
Yeah.
kind of neat that you can see that much, that much history at one place, and very, very awesome that this fort was actually used for that long. So, all right, I think it's time to head back to Gulf State Park and scoop out that pool. What do you think? Pool time?
Yes. It's so
right.
hot.
We're gonna go check out the pool.
What's different than one? All they have is some back. What are they?
All right, so we came out to Alligator Alley, which is just north of Foley, Alabama, and super neat place. They have hundreds and hundreds of alligators. They got a boardwalk that runs out through the swamp. They have feeding time where you can watch them feed the alligators. You can buy a little cup of alligator food. Dylan's really enjoying throwing the small alligators their food. And what do you think, Dylan? It's been fun?
Yeah, when I throw the alligators the food, I think where there's a bunch of them because it's a feeding frenzy.
So we got some footage of that for you guys, and if you're ever around this area, I suggest you check it out. It's a pretty cool place.
And what do I have?
Grab one phone.
I'm gonna throw this piece of alligator food into where those alligators are in the water.
No hard. You got it?
Oh!
They got it.
No, it's fine. Can I do another one? Look at that one. Tail in water, but the rest of it.
When we throw it over there by Big Boy over here?
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, I did not even see that one. Can I do one? There, that.
Look at this one walking over.
That one's gonna sunbathe apparently.
These alligators know when we hit those coolers, it's time to eat. They know that it's 11 o'clock, and they know this is one of the areas where we feed. Here they come. Now here at Alligator Alley, we have 230 adult American alligators in our swamp. All these alligators are nuisance wild-caught alligators. What that means is these guys got in trouble for doing something. A lot of times all that involves is them just being an alligator. What used to be creeks, swamps, bayous is now something we call waterfront property. So just hanging out, just being an alligator, got some of these guys in trouble. Now we do have a couple of alligators that developed a fondness for people's pets. The only problem is they forgot to give them back.
Yeah, I don't think that little stick is going to do that.
Big boy.
Yeah, we know. It's bad.
Come on. There we go. Now out here in the swamp with us, we do have male and female alligators. Take the back femur bone off a deceased alligator, slice it real thin, stain it with iodine, and put it on a microscope. You can actually count growth rings, just like with a tree. Because alligators grow in the warm seasons and then they stop growing in the winter. Alligators physically cannot digest food below 55 degrees. So once temperature drops that low, these guys go into what's kind of called a torpor, where they shut down 2 of the 4 chambers of their heart. Heart rate drops to about 2 beats a minute, and they only need to come up to breathe every 6 to 8 hours. This is our largest female. A little over 10 feet. We thought she was a male when we first got her in. Then we caught her laying eggs, realized we made a mistake.
Oh, so we're still 5.
Yeah, so it's a little deceiving here. You know, I panned around and showed you that we couldn't see anybody camping, but with like 496 sites, I mean, you know, you think about that, 496 sites. I mean, there could be 100 people camping here with you, and there's a good chance that you know, you may not see any of them, you know, right directly around you. We did notice that when we drove down by the waterfront sites, those are a lot more popular, as expected, in the summertime, but we kind of avoided those on purpose because, number one, we weren't sure how the mosquitoes would be, and that's something we were concerned about. So, as it turned out here, this site was great. We haven't really had an issue with mosquitoes. Haven't had an issue with really much of anything. So, it's been a great campground. We would highly recommend Gulf State Park, and we're looking forward to getting on the road tomorrow morning early. We got about 6 hours to get to Cheaha State Park up in northern Alabama, so we're going to go all the way from the southernmost campground in Alabama to almost one of the most northern campgrounds in Alabama. So we got a pretty good amount of ground to cover tomorrow, but we're looking forward to it. And man, I tell you what, we cannot wait to get into the mountains and see what the rest of this trip brings. The forecast is for a little bit of rain there on next couple days, but we're not going to worry about that. We're not going to let that dampen our fun at all, and we're gonna go see what these parks have to offer. We're super excited about it, so you guys stay tuned. Thanks.